Hi, everybody. Today's video, we're talking about my favorite YouTuber in the whole wide world, Amberlynn Reid, giving us a big update on Twinkie and what's going on with her dog's surgery, as well as something interesting has come up during her Instagram Rage Q&A. She's raging on Instagram. She's promising to block anyone that tells her anything that anybody else says, which is like, okay, don't threaten us with a wonderful time. The thing is that she used to panic about being fired from YouTube temporarily, and now she's not, but she hasn't gotten a new job yet. Do you find that unusual? I find that really unusual. She pretty much tells on herself in this Q&A, and she talks about how she saved more for taxes than she thought that she had to.
Just keeps getting funnier every time I say it.
Yes, very, very, very amazing and interesting. So basically, she's raging on Instagram. She's raging against people that dare say anything about her. It's a wonderful time to be alive. I feel like a girl of 2021 again. Here's the question. I thought that Amberlynn Reid had left social media forever, had stopped posting on YouTube. She was completely gone, and that's it. But remember when I told you that this isn't true? She needs the attention. She needs to stick it back to reaction channels. She needs to say things back to people. She just can't let things be truthful the way that they are, right? She needs to rage about Twinkies. So she did this big mega rage, this Instagram story. All right, so we're going to get into it, but before we do, have you seen my Kermit? Have you ever asked yourself, where can I purchase a Kermit? Can I purchase a Kermit? Well, now you can. That's my game show host voice, only available for the last month of December. Somebody actually asked me to extend it, but it was not highly requested, so I think I'm not going to do it. Anyways, if you ever wanted to purchase a Kermit, now you can. This is my affiliate link. The product will pop up in the video. If you do purchase one, let me know when he ships so I can be excited for you. All right, so everything I'm saying just for entertainment purposes only. Please don't take anything I say seriously. I'm sharing opinions, not facts, and publicly accessible information. First made public by public figures. Please don't go to these people's channels to leave mean-spirited, negative, discouraging, disparaging comments. Entertainment purposes only. How much was Twinkie's surgery, and is there a place we can donate to help with the cost? This is why she told you about Twinkie's surgery. This is why she updated you about Twinkie's surgery and then immediately deleted the post. She wants you to give her money for Twinkie. It was $700. It was absolutely paid in full. Thank you so much for offering. And for those asking, Twinkie is doing amazing. Always remember to not only advocate for yourself, but for your pets as well. The last sentence clearly implies that there was something wrong with the vet. She then goes on to confirm that, of course. Before we get to that, I just wanted to say,
Nurse, clear my schedule.
please never forget that Amberlynn Reid waited 7 years to take Twinkie to the vet knowing that she had that lump. It's in a video that the Ankle recently reacted to, and it was on Amber's channel for years. Interesting how you don't want to talk about that. Okay, we'll get to that. So as far as it was $700 and it was already paid in full, you said that your grandma and your mother said she couldn't afford a protein drink, but you made her pay for Twinkie's surgery. Twinkie is your responsibility. You are the one that did not save any money for emergencies for your pets, earning an outrageous amount of money for doing almost nothing. She later confirms this throughout this Q&A. So a person that's well off should have money set aside, or at the very least have money or have pet insurance for their 3 pets that are completely unnecessary. Amberlynn Reid doesn't need to have 3 animals, and when she loses them extensively, she doesn't need to replace them like she has been. My point is, if someone is barely making ends meet and still has a pet and doesn't have pet insurance, that's not who I'm talking about. A person that is so rich that they can spend $10,000 on stickers should have been able to afford Twinkie's surgery without help. You need to rehome your pets because you are never going to be able to afford anything with them again, but deeper than that. You're obviously somebody who has neglected Twinkie for years, as well as your other animals, as well as leaving Twinkie alone when she was shaking in pain, as well as losing Rarity multiple times. Rarity would have been here right now if you didn't run off to see an internet stranger. How's that going for you, Amber? People are saying Twinkie didn't actually have surgery and you only said it for a money grab. She definitely did. This is her resting. I'm so glad she has always adapted to the cone. She's such a smart, sweet, perfect, dog. I'm going to cover her stickers due to privacy. Okay. So, Amber, you literally, as Amberlynn Reid would say, you literally didn't take her to the vet for 7 years while she had that lump. Again, I've said that I thought that Amber didn't have money because this was before even she met Beck. But the point is, whatever the situation had been, right? Whatever issues had been that maybe Twinkie had this before you got her, it doesn't matter. Doesn't want to show you whatever it says for Twinkie is because she's hiding something. I have to say something. Amber doesn't understand why she has a bad relationship with her audience. It is because of the constant lying. Look, on YouTube, when you make public videos, you always have people not liking you. This is the nature of the job. But the average YouTuber, even somebody who does drama and, like dramatic content or whatever, or like reaction content, doesn't have such a bad relationship ever. I would say almost never has such a bad relationship at all whatsoever with their audience other than Amber. Amber, it's because of your constant lies. It's not that I don't think that Twinkie deserves privacy. It's that I don't think that Amber believes in this. She's just saying, and she's famous for this, she just says whatever she thinks that she needs to say to get the right buzzwords out. What I mean by that is, over the years that Amber has been making content, she's figured out a long time ago the right stuff to say when being confronted. She doesn't care about Twinkies, anything, okay? And it's interesting that Amber will just say later that like she has no idea what people are saying. She doesn't want to know what people are saying, but she has extensively picked the top questions that people are asking because she follows all the information about herself and reads the forums about her. I thought Twinkie's tumor wasn't cancerous. It's not cancerous, and it turns out it isn't just like a tumor. That's what the vet always said in Kentucky, and they said it was fine. The vet I had when I first moved to Oklahoma said it too, but in my gut, something seemed off. I got a new vet because I requested a removal, and they said no. But my gut was screaming and right. It was a massive cyst. My new vet listened, explained, and made me and Twinkie both feel extremely heard. She's doing so well after surgery. I'm so proud of her. So here's the thing. This is great that you advocated for Twinkie or whatever the case may be. But that's what you're saying. You didn't take Twinkie to the vet for 7 years. You knew about the situation for 7 years prior to that. I don't mean when she was already like the last few years. I mean before that. There's a video stating that. I'm going to link it again down below. So when you're saying that you're like this advocate for Twinkie, I just don't believe you. If you were an advocate for Twinkie, you would not have left your dog literally at home shaking in pain and went out with your ex Destiny. That's just my personal opinion. I'm glad that obviously Twinkie is doing well. Your dog is doing well. He's the only one that I care about. So here's another question that Amber picked about her dog. And someone says, some people online are discussing the surgery, but how do they know it took 3 hours? I dropped her off at 8:30 a.m. as they requested. You mean your mother dropped her off? Okay, you mean your mother drove you. Amber, what are you going to do when you or your pets have an emergency and your mommy can't take you? You refuse to start taking Uber. And yes, she can take Ubers, but she doesn't want to. The surgery started at 10:30. They called me at 12:30 p.m. and told me how it went and that she'll be ready for pickup in a few hours. Picked her up at 2 p.m. You mean your mother picked her up? I mean, it's so the actual surgery took 2 hours. Listen, here's the thing. Why are you picking all of these questions about Twinkie when you have no idea what's going on? She's going to tell you soon that she's had no idea that people were saying that she lied about the surgery, that all this other stuff. But she knows exactly what everyone is saying. She's still reading the comments on her one video. She's still perusing the forums. and she's still on everybody's comments. Okay, this is a really important answer because it shows you that she blatantly lied to people for years. Just recently, when she took a 1 month break after the whole drama with Aunt Tammy, she said, I have a very good savings. I have a bunch of savings. I don't need to work every month. I don't need to work all the time. So I'm going to take a break. I have savings. She has extensively stated that she had savings, that she's great with money. She has extensively told us to our faces and lied to our faces, all the people in her audience that support her. She has lied to you on purpose because she could and because that's how much she thought of you. Okay. My favorite YouTuber, Amberlynn Reid, has extensively stated to us that she has the savings to take time off and she's great with money. And in her goodbye video to say goodbye from YouTube, she did actually say that she's been horrible with money. So everything she said was a lie. This is even worse. You know, why can't you at this point come out and say, I lied to you because I disrespected you and because I felt that I could get away with everything? This is how you got away with everything. I hope it's everything you ever wished for, Pookie. Okay. If your pets didn't have insurance, please get Romeo insurance. Why didn't you save for emergencies? This is Amber's answer, and it shows you that she's been lying for what? 5, 6 years to you, 7 years to you, straight to your face. I think people are confused about my income. So let me just tell you something. When people start a sentence off like this, she's the only one that I know nowadays that does. But in general, this is a manipulation tactic and no one is confused. People were told by you that you have savings. You're about to say that you never did. And the only money that you saved in your life was for taxes. If you save money and all of that is for taxes, that's not savings, as I said. And when you put the blame on your audience, it's a manipulation tactic and it's not going to work on us. It's not going to work on me. I would never start the conversation off by saying everybody is confused because, okay, even if people do get confused, because I want to tell you something, on YouTube, people do get confused, not in this situation. If someone straight out tells you, hey, I have savings, and then says, oh, everybody was confused, I don't, you confuse them, and that's a nice word for it, because they weren't confused. What happened is you misled them, and now you're calling them confused to put the blame on them. I think people are confused about my income, which is fine because it's not something I talk about and definitely not something I plan on continuing to talk about either. This is a vocabulary channel. She came out with hundreds and said that she had all this money in the past. She has extensively said, including a few months ago, that she's taking a break and she has a lot of savings. YouTube is very kind when it comes to the amount they pay. That's why I didn't ever need a savings for emergencies because I had the income for anything. So imagine all of those super chats that people gave her when they were like saying something to her that she didn't like. She used it for whatever. That's why I said, stop insulting her for super chats. It's not worth it. I was always able to pay for anything at any time, even emergency things that came out of nowhere. My savings has always strictly been for taxes, so you blatantly lied. I'm telling you, one of these days, I'm going to find that clip because she's deleted everything, privated. I'm sure somebody has it out there. You clearly stated that your savings were for you. You said you had a lot of savings, but now your savings is only for taxes. I normally save more than I actually need for taxes, so that's been a nice blessing in disguise. Do you know why she's really panicking? What you're supposed to do, accountant is supposed to advise you that you should pay throughout the year instead of once a year. First of all, you can get penalties, and you will get penalties, at least in the state that I live in. You will get penalties like that if you don't pay as you go along. You're supposed to. That's first of all. Second of all, why would you want to pay a big sum once a year? You may owe more, you may owe less. The point is, you want to pay throughout the year as you go along. She never did that. She never did that. What we have going on here is that she was crying and saying she was panicking. Please send me a penny. She was begging for a penny. She was saying, how is she going to pay her taxes? And now she's all calm. No, 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 no. I personally, this is my opinion. It's definitely not a fact. I believe that you are not forthright with your taxes. I believe you pay them, but I think that you're writing off a lot of things that you're not allowed to. Just my opinion. And how does Amber know that she has to pay less in taxes and saved more in taxes than she needed right now. How does she know that? Now, you can count up you could write down, which is a good idea, what you think you're writing off, but you wouldn't know the full amount until you did your taxes. See, Amber, I think that you've just decided, in my opinion, to pay less taxes this year, and that's why you're not panicking. Where's her job? Why did the panic leave without a new job for her financial situation? Lied to your audience stating that you have all this money saved for emergencies and you didn't. It was for taxes. And now that it's come to fruition that you lied for what, 7, 8 years? Now you're not even on YouTube to be held accountable. Don't worry. She may not want to do Q&As anymore, but at some point she'll be back, and then we could ask her, why did you, this is what everybody needs to ask her in a nice, respectful way the next time that she comes on, and say, why did you continuously tell us you had savings? I will not let this one go. Why did you say that you had savings, that you could take months and months off? Ain't nobody here was confused. Why did you say you have savings when in reality you meant you had saved for taxes, but you don't have any savings for yourself? You out here begging for money, for cameos, and for pennies. So I want you to think about something before we go to the next one. In my opinion, there is no way that Amber has already secured a new job. And I understand that she's doing cameos, but I feel like she hasn't supplemented her full income yet from YouTube, right? Maybe she has with cameos. Good for her, okay? But my feeling here, my opinion, is that Amber is in the same exact situation as she was like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Why is she suddenly so calm? I think this has to do with taxes and her writing off more. That's just my opinion. Look at this. You were about to throw away $400 in shipping. This is for her swap, her collab. That's never going to happen now. In shipping, but you panicked for Twinkie's 700 surgery. I panicked when I lost my job, which is a normal reaction. Okay, so I will give her that. Yes, this is a totally normal reaction for anyone to have when they have a pet surgery and they just lost their job. But the problem is that you have been lying for such a long time that it's now unraveling. Twinkie's surgery or shipping or anything wouldn't have mattered cost-wise if I didn't lose my job. Losing an income I've had for a decade can make you feel things that are dramatized to the actual reality. Now that it's been some time, I'm no longer panicking and peaceful. No, 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 no. No, that's not it. That's not it. Just ask yourself, she knew her income. She knew what she had in her fake savings for her taxes that she couldn't touch. Just think about it. This is brilliant. Listen to this. She just told you that luckily and thankfully she saved more than she needed for taxes. So pretty much she'll be okay. Well, Amber, I'm so confused. How in the world do you know that? Okay, this is what I'm trying to tell you. She always gives herself away. She was panicking in the beginning, saying everything she has saved is for taxes. Then now she doesn't have a new job. She's not panicking anymore. She's calm. So she had the extra money from the taxes savings for life and for whatever else she needed. That's what's going on here. I agree with you, Amber. Anyone would have panicked when they lost their job in general, never mind when they had a surgery scheduled with their pet, with their dog. But all of a sudden, for you to be saying this is dramatized. Oh, I'm no longer panicking. Yeah, it's got to be the taxes. She thought she had to pay more taxes. Decided to pay less. You know what, Amber? This is amazing. I know exactly what you've been doing for years, in my opinion, and you've just confirmed it yet again. There's no way that a person stops panicking when they lose their job and they haven't gotten a new one unless they know that they can take the savings that they had for taxes, not spend it all for taxes, and spend it for themselves. Last point about this. This is not really what I recommend for anyone to do, and I don't understand how somebody could be like calm. My favorite YouTuber, Ambi, it's time for you, Pookie, to get a job. I wish you all the best with your future endeavors. I think that you need to go sign that yearbook. A junior at a high school prom. Oh, no, never mind. I guess I'm going to take my yearbook back. But what I will say is that I wish you all the best with your new endeavors and your new job. I wish you all the best. I hope it works out. Please do not talk all at once, sir. What's your response to those accusing you of lying about Twinkie's surgery? Ha 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 ha. What? I didn't know people thought I was lying about her surgery. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So you did know that people were accusing you of lying about the surgery. You did an entire Q&A dedicated to Twinkie's surgery, not because you thought people were worried, not because to update people, but genuinely because you have been reading everything about yourself and you conveniently answered the questions that people have been bringing up. You did know, Amber. You would have had to have known since you read everything about yourself. Why did you delete your update about Twinkie? This is a great manipulation of language. I've deleted all my community posts. The only thing I have left on my YouTube is my live stream saying bye until she's remonetized in a few months. So, what she likes to do is manipulate language. She takes a statement that is technically true and applies it to a situation that isn't. It is technically true that she has deleted all of her community page posts. But what she's not telling you in this answer, and if you didn't watch my video from the other day, and if you don't know what happened in real time, Amber deleted her posts, her 2 posts about her pet having surgery, her dog having surgery, almost as soon as she wrote it. Because, especially the second one, she deleted it rather fast. She usually leaves a post up for a few days. She left these posts up for a few minutes, maybe an hour or two, because she started getting opposition and because people understood that she was trying to get money and attention instead of real care for Twinkie. This is a manipulation of language. People are saying you got rid of Wasabi. Obviously, this is not true. People literally have made a character out of me. It's not the life I want. Don't worry, you'll be back in 3 months when you could be monetized. I truly don't want to hear what people are saying about me. Good news, you do. You're the one that's telling people what people are saying about you by picking these questions. Amber gets thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of questions. She picked the ones that she saw the most. That's what she'll say. But in reality, she picked the ones that she genuinely wanted to answer from the comments that she saw on Kiwi Farms and other forums and Facebook and her own comments and Reaction Channel's comments. Just for future reference, if anyone tells me I'm going to block you, still supporting this type of behavior is just wild to me. So you're going to block anyone that tells you anything that someone else says about you. Moving up to high school senior. All right. So, Amber, the reason that people believe that you lied about the surgery and why people could even bring themselves to believe that is unfortunately you have lied about such serious issues in the past that this was right on brand for you. And that's why people believed it. You've accused people of heinous things they didn't do. You have lied. You've made signs at your job site that you made at home, photograph them and send them to your Aunt Tammy, pretending that they told you something that they didn't. Amber, people believe this because this is definitely something you would do. What is something you're keeping secret for now? It feels like everything. Okay. So Amber has kept everything secret for years. She has done more than that. See, here's the thing. When Amber has blatantly lied to the faces of the people who have kept her lights on, she said that she was protecting her peace, she was protecting her girlfriends. Okay, so I have this to say. Why did you lie for years to your Aunt Tammy? Why did you lie to your mom? Why did you lie to your girlfriends in private personal relationships? She says that she's keeping things secret, which is her choice. Who cares at this point? You know, one of the things that you'll see in these Q&As is that, in my opinion, she is so still the same girl, meaning that she's still trying to stick it to reaction channels. She's still very angry and upset. She still has a problem with reality. I'm going to put it to you like this. My favorite YouTuber, Amberlynn Reid, has a problem with reality. Honey, you're doing more than keeping secrets just now. You've always kept secrets. But that's what you want to say, right? That's how you want to call it, keeping secrets. To the rest of us, you've lied on social media and then expected people to believe that and accept it. What does Mama Lynn think about you quitting YouTube? She feels really bad for me and she doesn't think it's fair. I'm just so confused about your mom. You say that, she's an amazing person, that she's turned a new leaf, and we've seen how she's turned her life around. And not once has she intervened in your life and been like, hey, Amber, I think that you continuously breaking your boss's rules is going to get you fired. I can't tell you how many people I've worked with that got fired because they broke the boss's rules. For some reason, Amber thinks that she's either above the rules or because YouTube is self-employment or something like that, or because YouTube is a place where like we don't talk to our boss on a daily basis. Our boss usually isn't bothering us on a daily basis. Our boss says you can actually not come into work when you don't feel like it, it's up to you. Like, just because there are such amazing perks in the job doesn't mean that the boss doesn't have rules. Amber was warned for years by reaction channels as well as by YouTube, and she chose to ignore them. How come your mom doesn't see your smug behavior where you thought that, you can always do whatever you want? How come your mom hasn't said anything to you? When is she actually going to be a parent to you and say, hey, as your parent, as us both being adults, I think what you've done is mess up one of the best relationships that you've ever had in life, called a very easy job. I mean, she feels bad for you. She doesn't think it's fair. Maybe your mom should do a basic Google search. Here's the thing. You know what nobody ever talks about? And I always used to wonder this when people used to break constantly all the rules at different work environments. Why? Why? What is the point? You know what the rules are. You know you're going to get into trouble. In this case, you're literally, as Hans Christian Pukilin Reid would say, you're literally sitting at home. You're sitting at home. You get to work when you want. Why do you break the rules? Where's your mom's input on reality? See, when your mom is a yes man, that doesn't help you, Amber. Do you still play Choosy by yourself? Yes, it's something I do daily. Well, that's good, I guess, for you. Why bother applying to jobs or whatever? You know what I don't understand? $10,000 spent on Choosy. She said that she spent at least $10,000 on Choosy. What am I talking about? Because whenever I talk about this, people still like ask me, like, what is Choosy? Choosy is Amber playing a game with herself and forcing her ex-partners to do so, where she bought like thousands of stickers or thousands of little whatever, thousands of charms, and like you force the person you're playing with to like pick between them until you get to your favorite one. And what is the point of forcing your partners to do that? Yeah, okay. So anyways, Amber said that she spent over $10,000 on this and yet couldn't afford Twinkie's surgery. This is where we know that your priorities are laying in. What place are they laying in? Here's the thing, I'll tell you something. It is so wild to me that you continuously lied to your audience extensively and said, I'm great with money. I know how to budget. I have all these savings. But what you really meant was, I have savings to pay my taxes. Having savings that you're only using for taxes is not having savings, okay? Saving money for taxes, like, you're not keeping that amount of money. So it's amazing to me that Amber continuously lied about having savings. She always said, oh, I have a great amount of savings. I have a great amount of savings. But she lied to you about that yet again. And what she really meant, and this is something that she said recently, that the only money that she has saved up has to go to taxes. So you spent $10,000 on a game you play by yourself and forced your exes to play, and you didn't have money for your dog's surgery. Got it. Here's the thing. I really, at this point, don't care about this, because the fact that she is constantly lying to us, it's nothing new here. You know what I don't understand? Why lie that you have savings to your audience when it's just going to come out that you didn't? Well, I wish you all the best, Pookie Lynn. We're going to pick up where we left off on the next video. Thank you all so very much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you for spending some of your time with me. If you did enjoy today's video, check out this other video that's popping up here on a similar topic. Let me know your thoughts and comments in the comments down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.